Iraq, despite a lack of training in the lead-up to the match in Tehran. And 3 Russian athletes have been disqualified retrospectively from the 2012 Olympic Games after failing doping retests. Now the 5AA forecast. Mostly sunny 29 today. Tomorrow mostly sunny 31. Partly cloudy Saturday and 30. The same Sunday 32. Then a possible shower developing for Monday 28 and partly cloudy for Tuesday and Wednesday with tops in the low 20s. Currently in the city it's 18. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Peter Godfrey, talking Adelaide on 1395 5AA.
It is 5 minutes past 5. Let's take a look at what's happening across the ditch affecting our Kiwi cousin, Selwyn Manning, with us, editor of EveningReport.nz. How are you this morning, Selwyn?
Yeah, not too bad, Peter. We've had an overnight temperature of around 15 degrees. Feels more humid than that, actually. The humidity has certainly been coming down from the Pacific areas. Yeah, definitely. But, it looks like we're heading for a high of around 23, 24 degrees.
Okay.
But once again, just underscore that humidity, it makes it feel a little bit warmer than that.
Is that normal? Is it normally, do you normally get a bit of humidity in Auckland?
Yeah, in Auckland we do. Further down in the country it gets drier. The Hawke's Bay area, where there's a lot of wine growing and things like that, it gets very dry there. It's on the east coast of the North Island, halfway down, and certainly down in the South Island around Queenstown and Otago, all those areas, Canterbury itself, they're very, very dry, but Auckland, sticky, humid. And the north, that's the same. So people get surprised by that when they come over.
Yeah, well, that sort of surprised me. It's pretty dry here. We're not that partial to the humidity. Never mind. Yeah. We get by. What's a few things making headlines over there?
Okay, we look at the New Zealand. Well, of course, there's a lot of reportage, just like what you guys have been doing on the London terror attacks.
Yeah.
We go down to the New Zealand stuff. The New Zealand Herald is reporting how New Zealand rugby players have been held in a French rape case. So there's a lot of attention on that type of thing at the moment, Peter. So if people are interested in seeing, what's happening to sports people when they're away, there's something very serious to have a read through. There's how Auckland's housing thing is so hot. The prices of getting a home are so high. And there's an article there that's kind of looking at it in a different way, and it's saying how a mum of 8 bought a 5-bedroom home, and it goes through how she went about that.
Oh, okay.
And also there's attention on Adele and her shows.
Yeah.
All you need to know about Adele's shows, Peter, is what the headline is. So that's the New Zealand Herald. And just one very quick one there on the New Zealand Herald is this is an interesting one about how schools and secondary schools can be a little bit perhaps conservative in the way they approach how their students should be looking. And there's a long-headed boy who is a student of Auckland Grammar, and he's been told to cut his hair or go elsewhere. Now that kind of thing pops up from time to time in New Zealand. I don't know about you guys, but it's
every now and then you do, not that often,
not
but
a lot.
Yeah, occasionally there'll be something like that somewhere around the country.
I remember way back in the old dark ages when I was at high school, Peter, and probably around the same time as you. If you had your hair in the 70s when all your idols had great big long hair, didn't they? The rock stars and everything. Yes. But if it got near your collar, they'd line you up and basically suspend you if you didn't have it cut up there. So
your school must have been more strict than mine. No, we were okay as long as it was neat.
Okay.
As long as it was neat. Mine was well over my collar at one time. Yes, those fond memories of those days when I had long hair.
The rebellious years of teenage years, Peter, we would, look at plans of getting away with that, and one of the plans was being truant for extended periods of time. But, that's another story, I suppose.
Yeah.
Going across to Fairfax's Stuff news site, that's stuff.co.nz. Once again, the overseas coverage is taking the lead positions there. But there's also others there. It's looking at saying this movie Ghost in the Shell, which has got Scarlett Johansson's name all over that one, really. A lot of that has been filmed in Wellington in New Zealand here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
With the help of Weta Workshops that were the digital kind of people, or the digital wing of Peter Jackson's movies like Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, etc., etc. Now, they've just calculated there's a bit of an injection for good old Wellington town, the capital of New Zealand, of $85 million. Because they chose to to have parts of the film done there. So
Okay.
that's a bit of a top-up. There's also an ongoing series that Fairfax is doing through its Stuff projects editor here, and it's looking at Facebook, Peter, which is an interesting take here, actually. It's saying, the takeover is the headline there, and it's saying how Facebook is everywhere, and this is a bit of a series on how Facebook has kind of got into the fabric of our lives, and really taking a critical look at what that means, good and bad. And when I say critical, I mean a thorough look.
Yeah.
So that's perhaps worth checking out, and it's kind of an interesting thing. Remember, there's a lot of criticism over here, and I'm sure all over the place,
Yes.
relating to the amount of money Facebook takes out of the system, really through its advertising. Has killed the advertising industry over here. There's also Radio New Zealand, of course, and what we're looking here, once again, the terror attacks overseas, but we were looking here at the Afghan raids. This is big news, Peter. We'll go into that in more depth immediately after this part of the bulletin, no doubt. So that's got a major part there, Afghan raid. Ex-minister accepts reports of civilian deaths. So we'll explain what that's about in a minute or two.
Yeah. All right. Well, we might actually get on to it now. So, it's a starting point, calls that there needs to be a commission inquiry into these pretty serious allegations involving, to do with that raid, involving New Zealand SAS commandos. Now, this goes back to, 2010 in Afghanistan?
Yes, it does. 2010, and the scope you're looking at there is between 2010 and 2011. I know ABC in Australia has reported this comprehensively, as well as has The Guardian. Basically what we're seeing over here today, Peter, is the pressure is continuing to mount on the Prime Minister, Bill English, and for him to initiate this commission of inquiry into these allegations that the New Zealand SAS commandos were involved in or committed war crimes in Afghanistan in 2010. Now, the allegations are detailed in a book. The book is called Hit and Run, and it was released here in New Zealand down in Wellington on Tuesday. The authors of Hit and Run are well-known investigative journalist John Stephenson, who specialises in war correspondence and conflict, and certainly many years of reportage up there in Afghanistan, and also Nicky, Hager, who is a well-known investigative journalist here in New Zealand and overseas. Now, they wrote that the New Zealand SAS soldiers they allege here, they committed a revenge operation against a village in Baghlan province in Afghanistan. That was after a New Zealand soldier, Lieutenant O'Donnell, was killed after a roadside IED, or an improvised explosive device, was exploded by Taliban insurgents. That was the first death of a New Zealand soldier up in Afghanistan that New Zealand had experienced there. Or suffered. Now, the claim is that the New Zealand SAS gathered intelligence, planned an operation, led the command chain of that operation, requesting and using US Black Hawk helicopters and also Chinook helicopters in the raid, and also the crews of those the military machines there. So that was a part of a night mission, Peter. Now, it appears that they believed that the insurgents, that's the SAS planners, believed that the insurgents were staying in a village, but within 10 to 20 minutes of the attack commencing, 6 civilians were dead and 15 civilians were injured. One of the dead was a young girl of 3 years old called Fatima, who was killed while she was carried in her mother's arms when the women, children and elderly were running for their lives. Once the attack had finished, Peter, the Kiwi SAS soldiers began to systematically go through the village, burning and blowing up the villagers' homes. The book also claims there were no insurgents at the village at the time. The book also asserts that the New Zealand SAS then covered up the fact that civilian deaths, and claimed that in statements at the time, and again in 2011 and again in 2014 and again this week, that those that were killed were all insurgents. Now, sources in the book include former members of the New Zealand SAS who took part in the attack, who were there on the ground, and they're perhaps motivated by a wish to clear their consciences and are frustrated at an apparent cover-up, and I say an alleged apparent cover-up there at this stage by New Zealand Defence Force officials and perhaps elected government representatives as well. Now, a week after the raid on the village and the SAS returned to the scene of where this went down, to destroy another of the villagers' homes that was being repaired. Now, at the time, if we go back to the original attack, also it's alleged that New Zealand soldiers did not attempt to check or to give aid to civilians who were still alive and injured, and some of them were significantly injured. One man, for example, had shrapnel from a rocket attack in his abdomen and died about 9 hours later. He received no medical attention or first aid at all. Excuse me.
So some pretty serious allegations, aren't they?
Yeah, very serious allegations. Sometime after that, an SAS, the SAS captured one of the insurgents that it had believed was involved in the killing of its soldier, Lieutenant O'Donnell. Now, the book alleges that while blindfolded and flexi-tied with his hands behind his back and confined to a vehicle, an SAS commando beat him severely. Then the New Zealand SAS soldiers handed him over to Afghan security officers, knowing that he would be tortured, of which he was tortured. He was electrocuted and suffered other forms of torture that we probably don't need to detail here, Peter, but the New Zealand Deputy Prime Minister yesterday, in reaction to this, her name is Paula Bennett, the Deputy Prime Minister, and she said on Radio New Zealand that she had been briefed on the claims of what the book had said, but that there was nothing in those claims that concerned her.
Okay.
Certainly got people scratching their heads and thinking, what on earth is she saying there?
Yeah.
She said that she trusted implicitly the New Zealand Defence Force officials who maintained up to that point that there was no civilians killed and that there were only insurgents. Now, what has come since then, like late yesterday afternoon, is the Minister of Defence at the time, who is now a law commissioner, so the former Minister of Defence, but he was Defence Minister at the time. His name is Dr. Wayne Mapp. He admitted on camera that civilians were killed. So the pressure is continuing to mount on the Prime Minister, Bill English, to have a formal commission of inquiry into exactly what went on.
Has he responded to that at all at this stage?
He's saying that they need more information, that they won't rely on the information portrayed in the book, that they will be seeking to get information as to whether or not that would occur, but he's playing it down at this stage, and I suppose in ordinary language you say it looks like he's dragging the chain, but even his closest supporters in that right-wing National Party area are saying, give up the farce, Prime Minister, just get an inquiry. These allegations are too serious and they seem to have traction. They're too serious to ignore. An inquiry is required. So it looks like it is probably heading that way.
Yeah, all right. Has there been any response or comment from the Defence Force itself?
The Defence Force itself has immediately put out a statement on Tuesday night, saying that it stood by its statements earlier on in the around the 2011 period, where it says that an investigation by ISIS, that's the international coalition force up there in Afghanistan, that looked into it, came back and said that there were no civilian deaths. Okay. That's conflicted, by the way, that subsequent reports coming out of the same body has admitted that civilians were killed up there and no insurgents were. Actually, the day after the killings had taken place up there, there was video footage that is available, and video footage was taken of the insurgents that were being hunted at that time, had returned to the village as a couple of their relatives had been killed in the attacks, and they were seen there with their weapons and obviously as a sign of, well, we're back, kind of thing. Okay. The other factor that was there was a Glock pistol was dropped by one of the coalition soldiers and lost in the night raid, and one of the insurgents had that and was showing it around. So and shortly after that, the raids against New Zealanders intensified, and we lost more soldiers in the months after that. So there's an awful lot for the government to chew through on this, and notwithstanding the legal consequences, Peter, where some legal experts have been in New Zealand media actually going through this, who have experience relating to international criminal court proceedings, and saying that on the basis of the allegations in the book, if they pan out, that there could be recourse through the International Criminal Court should the New Zealand government not take this seriously. So once again, to underscore the main point there is that it appears on the basis of the claims in the book that there is, and this is alleged at this stage, that New Zealand Defence Force has been implicit and involved in a cover-up of killing of civilians.
Serious stuff. All right, Selwyn, just having a quick break, and we'll be back with you in a moment with a whole lot more from your part of the world in New Zealand. Selwyn Manning, our guest, editor of EveningReport.nz.
Bill Hoffman Travel and Princess Cruises have an amazing cruise for you. Depart from your doorstep to the exotic east. Visit some of the most popular cities in Asia over 13 nights, including Margaret River, Fremantle, Bali, Kuala Lumpur, and finish your cruise in Singapore. Hosted by Phil Hoffman Travel, this cruise on board the Golden Princess departs Adelaide 17th of March 2018 from only $1,739 per person. This cruise will sell out. Don't miss the boat. pht.com.au.
Have you been injured at work? If so, Duncan Bashir Hannon successfully handled more workplace injury claims each year, and our promise to you is no win, no fee. Free call 1-800-DBH-DBH. That's 1-800-324-324 to arrange your free first appointment at any of our DBH offices. When you work in workplace injury law as much as we do, you get very good at it. Duncan Bashir Hannon. Don't settle for less.
Time for another top deal from Nordic Honda, top of Glen Osmond Road. For this month only, receive an amazing deal from Nordic Honda on any new 2016 build Honda vehicle. Purchase any new 2016 build Honda vehicle and receive 3 years scheduled service free. Top that. 3 years scheduled service free, exclusive to Nordic Honda. Ask about 5-year extended warranties on all new Hondas.
Another top deal from the top of Glen Osmond Road. Nordic Honda.
Nordic Honda.
They're tops.
G'day, Keith Conlon here. If you're anything like me and want to take stunning photos on your holidays, then do what I do and see the photography experts. That's Diamonds Cameras, of course. Whether it's wild landscapes or famous landmarks, you'll capture them perfectly with a Nikon Coolpix compact camera. Or for something more powerful, maybe try a Nikon Digital SLR. From the Grand Canyon to a holiday with the grandkids, trust the well-travelled team at Diamonds Cameras, 165 Rundle Street in the city. That's your best shot.
No two car accidents are the same. But there's a crash repair network that offers the same high level of service, whatever the repair. Carcraft. If you have an accident, make them your first call. There's a Carcraft repairer near you. And should you need to visit them again, Carcraft will give you complimentary excess cover up to $500. Make your first choice in accident and hailstorm repairs Carcraft. Call 1300-DAMAGE or visit car-craft.com.au.
Peter Godfrey on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
And we're taking a look across the ditch, seeing what's happening over there in New Zealand with Selwyn Manning, editor of EveningReport.nz. Now on to something a little bit lighter, Selwyn. You've had a shirtless Justin Bieber floating around your fair land.
The Beeb's been in town, Peter. He certainly has been.
Has he behaved himself?
About as well.
He's behaved himself?
He's behaved himself so far very well. People are very impressed, actually. His attitude has been one of fun. So he's been getting around. Initially last weekend, for example, he was getting around Auckland, seeing the nightlife around the different places. I'm sure it doesn't compare to Florida Keys or something like that, but he was experiencing it in the back of a rickshaw with a few other people. Apparently, one of the songs he was singing as they were going along in a very happy and jovial way was "Get Out of the Way," and a 5-letter word starting with B.
Bitch.
Right?
Oh, we'll let that one go. Get out of the way.
That one's okay to say.
Okay. I hope so. Oh,
yeah. You said it, Peter, with a proper accent. Mine would sound very much like a strange Kiwi rendition of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's probably my motivation for not saying the word. But he's still in New Zealand, and he's seeking that thrill experience down in the South Island with all the different adventure kind of tourism things. And there's a photograph, I think you've seen it, Peter, of the Justin Bieber. He's falling backwards, going down bungee backwards over the Shotover River. Pretty good photograph, actually, and certainly it would get your adrenaline going for anybody that wanted to do it.
Yeah. Oh, brave man. I did see another photo too of him in a was it a hotel somewhere, shirtless, dancing with an older lady who, I hope I'm not say the wrong thing, but maybe in her 60s, perhaps.
You can't complain that he's an ageist little...
No, exactly. Yeah, he gave her a hug and...
Yeah, well, there you go. So there's been a bit of attention on the guy, just as a lightener, obviously, and he's been here quite a few times.
Oh, has he? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the basis of that is, but he seems to have a bit of a fan base here, of course, like he does in all places in the world. And he gets on. A couple of times he's been here. One of the times he seemed a bit surly, but I suppose we all have our moods, don't we?
We do, yeah, sometimes.
Get the spotlight on. But anyway, he's certainly getting around.
And, that's good.
People seem to be thrilled to bits about it. So,
all right, and you got Adele there as well.
Adele,
yes, she's
big stuff.
She's only just left here.
And, like I said, in Fairfax, isn't it? Yeah, the Fairfax headlines. They were saying, click on this, here's everything you need to know about Dell. So, if people want to check out what Dell's doing over here, if you're coming to New Zealand and you're thinking, oh, God, wonder if these tickets still to Dell, you'll be able to find out.
Be able to find out there, okay, for anyone that didn't get enough of her when she was here.
What was that, weekend ago?
Monday before last, she was here, apparently, from all accounts, a terrific show. So you guys over there will probably enjoy it as well. Record numbers too, 70,000+ at Adelaide Oval for a show.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
And that's bigger than the Rolling Stones and the...
Well, it was, it was.
That's amazing. I remember, I was watching this interview with Alan Parsons. Remember the Alan Parsons?
Oh, Alan Parsons Project, yeah. He was...
some of these interviews...
He was producer of Pink Floyd albums, wasn't he, I think?
Yeah, that's right. He engineered Dark Side of the
Moon, yeah.
Yeah. And did obviously a fantastic quadraphonic version at the time. But one of those interviews on YouTube, that's really quite interesting, where they're not necessarily all the gloss of a professional doing it, so they're extended out and they really get to talk and stuff. It was fantastically interesting. It was around the time when Adele was just coming through, and he was saying, because he was asked, what kind of singers of today do you really admire? And he pointed her out and he said, she's something.
Is that okay?
I kind of, that was the first time, this is going back a few years ago, and it's the first time I'd heard of her, and I thought, wow, that's interesting,
Somebody of the ilk of Alan Parsons, that's high praise.
It is.
Yeah. Oh,
Alan Parsons, that was a big deal, wasn't it? Alan Parsons.
Yes, the Alan Parsons Project. iRobot, I think, was one, wasn't it?
Eve. Peter could go on. There was Tales of Mystery and Imagination. That used to blare out at parties all the time.
We're showing our age now, Selwyn. There we go.
We are. We'll be getting the knitting needles out, and we'll be sitting there with a blanket over our knees and having yarns of the past.
We might. So we better stop before we do that, Selwyn, and scare everyone. All right, mate. Thanks for joining us this morning, and have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, Peter.
All the best. Bye-bye. Selwyn Manning in New Zealand. He's editor of EveningReport.nz.
G'day, guys. It's Cozzy here. Statewide Super is South Australia's very own industry super fund, and they're looking for the next statewide superhero. That's someone who goes above and beyond to help their fellow South Aussies. I'm stoked to be one of the judges, and now you can be too. We need your help to choose the Community Choice Hero from the top 10 finalists. Voting closes Friday 24th of March, so get in quick and help your favourite South Aussie hero win the $2,000 prize. To vote, just head to statewide.com.au.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. For 3 days only, we're slashing prices on thousands of metres of National Wall and Floor Tiles. This Friday, Saturday and Sunday, only at National Tiles. Save up to 50% and more on both premium and standard ranges of National Wall and Floor Tiles. Yes, this Friday, Saturday and Sunday only. Save up to 50% and more at National Tiles. National Tiles, Mile End, Nailsworth and Wingfield.
Thank you. The whole team at Agostino Mitsubishi would like to say thank you for your support over the last 25 years. We promise to continue to provide the best deals, best service and best experience. Right now, we're having a genuine 2016 plate clearance sale with huge savings across the entire Mitsubishi range. So it really is a great time to buy. Thanks again from Agostino Mitsubishi for the best deals, best service and best experience. Two great locations, agostino.com.au.
South Australia, one of the British Empire's great wine and brew creators.
Times have changed, yet our historic liquor brands continue setting world benchmarks. But now, in this new next generation of award winners, Alleges SA, Saturday, April 8, 12 to 4 p.m. at Powell's, Parafield Airport Liquor Store. A free arvo tasting outstanding newly emerged SA wines, craft beers, spirits and delicious accompanying SA bites.
Thanks to Hill, Cider, Tucker's Natural and Pals.
Having one of those days where you need to top up the tank? 5AA and Automasters want to put a smile on your face by topping up your tank with petrol. Tune into the 5AA Breakfast Show this Thursday to find out where I'll be handing out free fuel.
Switch and save on services and repairs at any of 19 Automasters. Call 1300 Automasters.
All thanks to Automasters and $13.95 Adelaide's 5AA.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Mostly sunny and 29 today. It's 5:30. I'm Anne Stone. 4 people, including a police officer, have been killed in a terrorist attack in central London.